What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about the Central Division race. It has never been more important to win the Central Division this season, and it comes down to the Jets and the Stars here. And, you know, Jets have had that lead pretty much the entire year now, Stars catching up. The Jets were up 12 points by the trade deadline, but these teams just don't lose. And this is, you know, just crazy to watch. I'm going to, pull up some stats and everything in just a few minutes here, but the Jets had a 12-point lead at the trade deadline. It is down to 4, and they have, 6 games remaining. Dallas has 7. The Jets and Dallas do play each other one more time before the season ends. I'll talk about schedules and everything soon, but it is, between the Jets and the Stars right now to win the Central. If you win the Central, you're rewarded with playing a wildcard team and, some pretty good ones with Minnesota and St. Louis, who have won 11 games in a row, by the way. I don't think that St. Louis is going to be finishing in the last wildcard. I don't think that whoever wins the Central will be playing the Blues. I think they'll be playing the Wild. The Wild are getting healthy now too, so, no easy outs here in the first round. But if I'm the Jets or the Stars, I much rather take the Blues or Minnesota over the Colorado Avalanche. But for the Jets, the way this team is built, I genuinely believe that, winning the Central is a must, and not even like an option at that point, because if they play Colorado in the first round, I don't know if they come out of that one. I don't think it's a slaughter like it was last season, but I don't know if they come out of that series, right? Colorado is a very good team. Ideally for the Jets, you would have Colorado and Dallas play each other in the first round, and then play a team like Minnesota, and, hopefully get through that series fast and let Dallas and Colorado beat each other up, through 6 or 7 games. And, that's the way that we've kind of all thought that this is kind of going to go here. But Dallas has been on an insane run, winning 7 in a row, and they don't play very many good opponents coming up aside from the Jets, right? Like, there are some teams here that could pose a problem, but down the stretch here, they've only got 7 games left. If they win out, I don't think they will, but if they do win out, no matter what, Dallas will clinch the Central Division. So that is something to be aware of there. It's very unlikely that happens, but it could happen, right? Now, looking at what the Jets are going to be up against in their next little while here, they're going to be playing Utah on the weekend, followed by St. Louis and Dallas. That's probably the hardest part of the schedule remaining right there. And then Chicago, Edmonton, and the Ducks to close out the season before we hit playoff time. And, the Dallas game, obviously the most important. The St. Louis game, yeah, they're on a heater. See how the Jets stack up against them. Utah, Chicago, Edmonton with their injuries and what they're going through right now, and the Ducks, I think they should easily win those games, but the most important games, in my opinion, to make a statement are the Blues and Dallas, and I think if they can come out of those ones, especially the Dallas game, they need to win that Dallas game, they will be just fine to take the division. Now, if you're asking the question, well, why don't you want the Jets to play Colorado? They have McKinnon, they have Makar, they have a very good team that's won a Stanley Cup before. I'd much rather Dallas take that challenge on, and, if the Jets get through the first round, they can play a beat-up version of one of the other teams. The reason I think it's so essential for the Jets is because I just don't think that they are as deep as these other teams. Yes, they are the number 1 team in the league. They have a chance to win the President's Trophy this season, but these other teams are very good, and they have won before. And they are, on a talent-wise, on paper, they are better than the Winnipeg Jets in some areas. My number 1 thing is depth. We've seen Gabe Vilardi go down. We're kind of unsure of what's going to be happening with him. Doesn't seem like he's going to be coming back soon. Is he even going to be available for the playoffs, right? Now, if you look at these other teams, when they have injuries, they have quality depth. They went out, they got quality depth at the trade deadline. They've, added quality depth through their prospects. And not to say the Jets haven't added quality players like a Brandon Tanev and a Luke Schenn. I think they fit in really nice. But I don't know if they're, at the same impact as a Brock Nelson over there in Colorado. They also added Charlie Coyle. They're very deep down the middle now. You take a look at Dallas. They, of course, added Mikko Rantanen, who's starting to heat up now, right? Signed to an 8-year deal. So now all of your contenders, your opponents, they have these quality players, and you go out and you get Luke Schenn and Brandon Tanev. I understand the deadline wasn't as fruitful as maybe we would have liked, but this is the situation the Jets are in right now. They need to figure out how to win with the players they have. So I think it's very important that they win, play a lesser opponent at the beginning, and then, see how the cards fall in the second round if they're able to get there. Every game down the line here is going to be magnified. It already has been for the last few, but when the Jets lost to the Kings, I was asking myself, why does this one hurt so bad? Obviously, Dallas won their game that night, so they closed from 6 to 4 points behind the Jets, and yeah, that sucks. They still have that 4-point cushion. Why does this feel so disheartening? The Jets have had so many winning streaks this season. Why does one loss feel like the end of the world, for a few hours, right? And it was actually pointed out on Twitter. I just saw this tweet. An Avs fan on Reddit pointed out that, before the Jets win last night against the Vegas Golden Knights, the top 4 Central teams are 32-5-3 in their last 40 games. 32-5-3. That's actually unbelievable. This Central Division is so incredibly tight. They're some of the best teams in the Western Conference, if not, top 3 in the West. I truly believe that Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado are the best 3 teams in the Western Division right now. And, 32-5-3 in your last 40, that would explain why every loss feels so painful at times, because really, you're not used to it. When you have a race like this going on right now, it is just so tight. It is so tight, but I do have faith in the Jets to close this one out, and I'll tell you why right now. Every single game this year where the Jets have been doubted, they have proved the doubters wrong, and myself included. Lots of people, didn't think this team would even be top 3 in the Central this year. A lot of experts didn't have the Jets making the playoffs this year. We now sit watching the Jets at the top of the league, a chance to win the President's Trophy, a chance to win the Central for the first time ever. This is, such an insane season, such a fun season, and still a ton of work to do. We're not even at the playoffs yet, but every single time that it seems we doubt the Winnipeg Jets this year, they bounce right back, throw it in your face, and prove you wrong. So I'm not going to be doubting the Winnipeg Jets going forward here. I'm going to have faith in the Jets, and I think that, with the games remaining in hand, with the history that they've had this season against Dallas, with the beatdown they laid down on them earlier in the season, I have full faith that the Jets are going to beat the Stars, and they're going to win the Central Division this year. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on the home stretch. What do you guys think is going to be happening there in the Central? Do you think the Jets are going to win the Central? Do you think Dallas is going to win the Central? And who do you think the first place winner will be playing in the playoffs? Will it be the Blues? Will it be Minnesota? Will Calgary squeak in there somehow? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you all so much for watching. As always, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. More Jets content on the way here. I've got something planned for the playoffs as well, so keep your eyes open for all of that. But thank you so much, as always. See you in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.